Hi, everybody, and welcome back to another F Word, a filmed podcast that is about inspiring a more vibrant, healthier, and wealthier 50-plus lifestyle. I'm your host, Vital Germain. I'm 56 years old. I feel good, and I look even better. Don't hate, you can too. Let's dive straight in with our first guest. Welcome to Geryalynn. Hi, Geryalynn.
Hello there, beautiful.
What a way to start. I am blushing already. Likewise, and we did get the color memo. Geryalynn, there are a lot of things I want to talk about. I also want to address your 5 pillars to slowing down the aging process before we get to that moment, because there's a lot of rich knowledge that you share. Geryalynn, how old are you?
Oh, well, I tell others I'm 22 with 30 more years of experience, but I'm officially 52 in 2020.
Officially 52 in 2020, and you yourself are looking absolutely stunning and fabulous. Very quickly, let's go back in time. And this is a profound question straight out of the gate. 52 years old. Do you have any regrets? Things that you didn't do, things that you should have done more of? Because one thing that science has shown, research has shown, is that one of the things that people realize or regret in aging and getting to the last chapters is they wish that they'd been more loving, they developed more friendships. What are your regrets?
So it's a very powerful question, and it's such a great question so thanks for asking that type of question. It's important for people to understand that, first of all, regrets are going to happen, but there's no reason to hang on to them. I don't have any regrets right now.
Good.
For my life, I am in the place I'm supposed to be, and I'm so grateful for being there. And yes, I could have done more, but gosh, I did a lot. So I feel good for what I did. If I could have changed something, maybe
Yeah.
I might have gone. If I could go back, I remember a pivotal moment in my life where I could have gone left or right. I came into a Y. I came to a decision-making point where it was save a lot of people or save yourself, and
Ooh.
then save a lot of people later.
Can you
And I
elaborate on that?
thought to
Because
myself, yeah.
I love you to talk more about that, because that is a defining moment. Because yes, people who live life with a deep sense of meaning have to make a decision. Do I want to go out and help, to your point, a lot of people, which is my drive, my purpose, but if I'm unable to, first of all, take care of myself, I can't achieve that objective. So how do you mentally navigate that dilemma, or emotionally navigate that?
And it's a place where you either sink or swim at that moment, and you get that chance many times in life. So this wasn't my first, and it will never be my last, but at this point, I remember getting onto an airplane similar to you at a very young age, and I remember the lady coming over the speaker system saying, put the mask on yourself before assisting others. And I
Yeah.
thought, why? You got to take care of the kids. And then I went, oh,
Big aha moment.
aha moment at 16, going, if I'm not okay, then I can't give any gifts because I don't own any gifts to give.
Yeah, it makes perfect sense. You just mentioned the age of 16. I want to take you back a little bit further than the age of 16. I'm a believer that our truest sense of why, our reason for being, ikigai, the Japanese version of our reason for being, the why. It's where meaning, what we're good at, all those things where they come together in that Venn diagram. What did you want to be when you were 7 years old?
And it's a
Do you remember that?
monumental question, because I knew what I wanted to be by 9, and I
Wow.
was figuring it out at 7, but part of my life was interrupted at
Yeah.
that time. But regardless of those circumstances, I knew at 9 I wanted to work in metal, jewelry, some kind of earthy something, and I knew I wanted to train dogs and people with their dogs, because I was lucky enough to know that the relationship could exist if managed properly.
Yeah.
So at 7 to 9, I knew this. And I was told many years later, when they were asking me during, what do you want to be when you grow up? And I went, a dog trainer. And they went, well, there's no college for that. You can't go there. Well, there was a college for that. It had just been born, and it was out of Los Angeles, but there was no internet back then. There was no Google back then. You found out about it through the back of a magazine, but they weren't advertising for this college back then. So I went through apprenticeships and went through other types of certification and became certified as a dog trainer, even one certification, 2 certifications after my college degrees, but was told, no, you can't do that. It's not really a thing. So part of it is believing in this spark that's inside of you, but being
Oh,
smart
I
about
like
it,
that.
making
The
educated
spark.
choices about the path.
Yeah. Now, I want to quickly get to your 5 steps of slowing down the aging process. One more question before I do. You mentioned that you work with dogs. That was a part of your calling. You knew that at a very young age. I have dogs. They have been an integral part of me maintaining a sense of youthfulness and vibrancy. Why do you think it's important for, first of all, you've chosen that as a career. What is it about dogs and animals that you felt compelled to become that? And what value does that bring when you can help people train their dogs and have stronger relationships? What value does that bring to human life and to your life?
Well, this is one of those wow questions, Vital. Wow questions, which is I knew that there was a purpose for us to be here because of pets.
Yeah.
Because why else would they be here? Or I say animals when I think of pets, or they're kind of synonymous because
Yeah.
I have birds that sit out my window that I consider my pets. I mean, they talk with me every morning. I
Yeah.
feed them. They're wonderful. They're my pets. They're my gift from some other power to let me know that everything is going to be all right.
Yeah.
So therefore, at a young age, dogs inspired me to be able to believe in whatever was going on in front of my eyes because they were all right. So I knew everything with me was going to be all right.
Oh, I like that.
That's my wow answer to why I knew that I could build a cathedral from them to help people know everything was going to be all right,
Ooh.
because the things that I experienced at a young age, now I look back and see I'm so proud of myself for surviving through all of those things and being able to empower so many people and touch them with my little cathedral I'm building.
I love the metaphor of the cathedral, and I'll share something rather personal for me and how dogs have been a huge impact on my life. After Cirque du Soleil, I broke my legs and went through a very deep, dark depression, and it was purely, I had a dog, and it was that dog that got me out of my darkness and my shadows because I had a bigger purpose than me. And if the only reason why I got out of bed that day was to feed my dog, then that was the reason why I got out of bed. And dogs have saved my life, and I watch people who lose their pets. It's sometimes more devastating. They lose a pet, and it's more devastating than if they lose a human being. Where I want to quickly go with this question is, over the years, obviously you've interacted with many dogs. How do you handle that loss? Because we get
You
attached.
So you do not, you can never handle it, quote unquote. You just carry it with you and you take the lessons that keep the positivity. What would your dog want? What would your dog want you to remember about them? That's one. And
Yes.
two, they're going to come back to you. I believe souls aren't destroyed. That soul comes back to you. So those puppies have souls. They do to me. They have my entire existence. So when they will come back to me in another pet in some form. And I didn't believe it until I saw it myself. And I've seen it many times. So when that movie came out, the Bruce Cameron movie, A Dog's Purpose, when
Oh,
his movie came out,
a movie I
it
need to watch. What is it called? A Dog's Purpose?
so he has it's a trilogy. Actually, he has more than that, but there's a trilogy, and in one of those in particular, they talk about how this dog the spirit keeps coming back to them through through another dog
Yeah.
to help them learn their lesson until they get there, until they get to where they're supposed to be and can move on from that point, and then they move on to another point. It's an amazing movie about that type of thing. And I've actually had people walk up to me and have a picture of their dog that passed away and the new puppy they just received through rescue, and they are identical. It's
I
the,
can
the
somewhat
attitude.
relate to
I've
that.
seen
And
that.
it's,
So that's my thought process, is if you can operate from a space where you know they're coming back to you,
yeah.
and you take those lessons and you put them into practice. But I'm not going to shortchange the fact that it's hard. It
Yeah,
is just hard losing that loved one.
loss is
I mean,
hard, but
I have bobbleheads of my dogs back behind me.
uh,
You
I
can
have
see.
them, I have a great service through my vet, and they provide a paw print, and it gets framed, and they also have a chunk of fur from my pet, and it's in a frame, and it's a beautiful memo. And to your point, we never really get over it. We just learn to embrace it, and then finding the love in another pet is oftentimes is what has helped me. And when it comes to humans, it's kind of somewhat similar. You just have to ride the loss, but it never fully goes away.
It doesn't. you just carry it with you, and you learn to carry them with you. And it's the price you pay for loving. And I have no problem paying that price because it's incredible.
Let's
And
quickly talk about love. 52
so
years old. You recently, I don't know how recently, but it hasn't been that long. You recently found what you sort of call your soulmate, the love of your life. It's something that I celebrate for you. How the hell did you do it? Because a lot of people out there are
you
looking
met
for
me
love.
when
It's
I
the
was
thing we need the
single.
most. How did you manifest that?
So you met me when I was single, remember?
Yes.
Many years ago. And I I realized at one point that one of my friends had said to me, "Your list is too long, shorten it to one word." So I shortened it
Wait,
to
wait, hang
one
on.
word.
Your list is too long. The list of men you want, or the list of character traits you want your man to have? Let's be
Most
clear.
men want me. Just kidding. Just kidding. No, the list of qualities I want them to possess was too long. He said shorten it to one. So that's a
Wow.
challenge, right? How do you
Wow.
shorten a list of X number of things? I won't give the number. I'm a math girl. Down to one.
All
And
right, so
so
can we know that secret? What was the magic trait? Drum
well,
roll,
I have
please.
so it's life loving. If you don't love life, why
Wow.
are you here? Why are you involved?
Life loving. So what does that life loving mean to you?
Waking up in the morning, jumping out of bed, going, woohoo, what are we going to do? How are we going to do it? Or I already have a list made last night. So I know what I'm
Wow.
thinking the second I get out of bed. They're just prepared because they love what's going on and they're always looking forward. They're not looking backwards.
Now, is
So
that trait, that enthusiasm, one of your 5 pillars to slowing down? Because if it's not, I want to find out what those 5 pillars are to slowing down the aging process.
it's actually not, but
Oh,
but it should be. Because one of them is you should have a dog or a pet in any fashion. I don't care if it's a goldfish. Bring on any type of pet because it helps you stop thinking about yourself and nurturing something else besides you. And it actually, in reverse, helps you nurture yourself more
so that's
effectively.
number 1. Find an external thing to care for, to love, to nurture. Make it
Absolutely.
more, it's bigger than you, bigger than
Yes.
me.
And
I love that.
I prefer ones that don't take your keys or your wallet. So I prefer first because everyone learns from that. Number 2, breathe. The number one way to
Breathe.
detoxify yourself is just to breathe, and no one breathes. I even find dogs that don't breathe because their owners don't breathe.
Wow.
That scares me.
So let's go a little bit deeper into breathing because I'm a firm believer in the power of the breath. It can come in multiple forms. People sometimes get intimidated that, oh, well, I've got to meditate and I've got to climb the mountain for 40 days and I've got to sit like this to find, but it can literally be one deep inhale and exhale to completely change our mindset. But I want to go a little bit deeper. Break that down about the breathing and the breath.
I'd prefer a minimum of 6 big deep breaths a couple of times a day for detoxification.
Okay.
Because if you do not breathe out, you are not exhaling some of the yucky stuff that can make you behave bad or feel yucky, which may make you think improperly because you're not getting the toxins out.
Do you
That's
add
one.
a layer of intention or visualization? So, or do you just simply focus on those 6 breaths?
By focusing on those breaths, your intention is me. I'm taking
Okay.
care of me. So it literally is that simple. I don't want to complicate things because I want people to just make it a habit. So just breathing means you're focusing on yourself. Kudos to you, keep doing it. And anytime you catch yourself not, then do it anyway. It doesn't take long. That's a massive one.
Again, I practice breathing, but I haven't quite done it the way you have recommended, and I'm going to actually implement that. I'm going to give that a try. 6 breaths with the focus on self-care, self-love.
Yes. Sense
Love
of
that.
humor
Is this number 3?
massive. Is number 3. You must maintain a giggle every day. And if it's not at yourself, which it should be, because
Yes.
we're funny. We
Yeah.
are really funny.
Yeah.
And we're not being silly like we are shameful or something's wrong with us. We're being silly because our world is funny and we should laugh. We really should. It's good for us. It makes us a body chemistry of positive chemicals that smell better for dogs, obviously, and cats and other animals and each other.
They say animals can smell fear. Can they smell joy, happiness, calm, tranquility, all those emotional states?
YES. I wish I could make a big YES. Yes, they can smell everything. Cortisol smells like fear. They know the smell of cortisol. They know fear.
Do
They know
humans tap into that too?
they do, but it's more subconscious unless you're tuned into it. And I smell it. I can walk into someone's home when I train a dog now, which scares me to death. To walk in and go, oh, this house is full of fear. How do I change it? I'm not a licensed therapist. I can't
Wow.
change it. I'm just trying to save your dog. So I usually try to find one teeny little tidbit of something I can leave for them that will spark them in the right direction for what I'm speaking of when it comes to this, what we're speaking of the remembering to breathe, remembering
Yeah.
to take it easy on yourself, like
So
have that sense of humor.
a giggle a day keeps the doctor away. I mean, I love to laugh. I try to not take myself too seriously. I take what I do seriously, but I definitely like to make fun of myself in healthy ways. And to your point, I think humor is a great way to diffuse, minimize pain, loss, anxiety. It's a great tool.
It is.
All right, tell us a joke and make me laugh. Now, there is,
Yeah.
so humor doesn't necessarily mean having to be funny. Humor can also be the ability to see the funny in something.
Yes.
I
Or
love that.
really see the funny in anything. I can see the funny in 6 things sitting in front of me right now, or a memory that sparks some type of chemical reaction that's a joyful one or a happy one.
I love that. I love that humor. Wow, that might be one of my favorites. So what's the next step?
One really massive one for me is to create a space that is inviting and loving, and that you feel like you're happy that you're there. If your environment is a mess and you're a mess, then you can't get to any of these places. You'll never breathe. You'll never giggle.
Wow.
So, and your dog will never benefit, or your cat, or your bird will, or your lizard will never benefit
Your lizard,
from,
your
your
lizard.
fish will never
So,
benefit from that positive energy that you're surrounding them with, because your house is your sacred space. And this is massive lesson. I teach this to all of my clients. I even probably said this to you, but I think you already had it for the most part because you're so amazing.
well, you helped me add new layers and things that I hadn't maybe fully optimized. But yes, to your point, my home is my sanctuary, and it's where I like to retreat, recharge, feel safe, feel comfortable. So now, what you're sharing now does that get into the realm of things like feng shui?
Yes, and whatever floats your boat. But I look at it as rituals. What rituals are you adding in? What's your morning ritual? What's your bedtime ritual?
Ah,
What's your tea time ritual? Do you have a lunch ritual? What's your break during the day where you break up the day for yourself as a human and for your pet, if that's appropriate at that moment, that you take that break from whatever you were working on to take
yeah,
care of yourself, to have the water or the nourishment, because you're a pump and a filter as a human being. And if you're not pumping and walking or moving or
yeah.
stretching or yogaing or tai chiing or whatever, sword fighting, whatever floats your boat, and then on top of that, having that water or that tea or whatever, coffee, whatever that you are intaking to help you as a human being, um, just move, keep everything moving and filtering, then you're making a huge error in your life if you don't have those types of things going on. And if you're not, start today, even if it's with one thing, and you only do one thing through the next 4 months.
Oh, I like that idea. Keep it simple but effective. I actually do have rituals, and I never thought about it, but I actually do. When I wake up in the morning. Oh, did I just lose my microphone? Am I still?
Yes,
I love
I
it.
still
I
hear
love it
you.
in line. It's okay. I caught it. I caught it. I caught it. We're still good to go. Testing 1, 2. Yeah, you can still hear me. So
Nice.
my rituals when I wake up in the morning is I spend a bit of quality time with my 2 dogs. I feed them, of course. Then we play a little bit. I go out and sit in my backyard, which I've made kind of a zen. To your point, my backyard is a totally zen environment. I sip my tea barefoot. I do what's called grounding or earthing, which I'm sure you're familiar with.
Yes.
Then I take my pets for a walk, and that kind of sets my rhythm, my mood for the rest of the day. So there you are, you have it. Have we reached the 5 steps, or is there one more to go?
We have one more, and that's
Okay.
to find a mentor.
Ah,
Or I like to call it the anti-mentor. So
the
find someone you
anti-mentor.
want to follow, or find someone that is the absolute opposite of everything you want to do and do the opposite. I have had both. And because of having both, my life is so centered. I learned the devil's side and the angel side, if you will, whatever
Yeah.
you want to call it. I watched both and I went, wow. And I knew how to operate from there. And I saw the results. And seeing the results is what has been just a massive eye opener.
Yeah.
So when you see someone who you knew when you were really young, and then you see them as you age, and you see how they age, the lifestyle that person has lived, can be a massive eye opener. I was
Oh.
lucky enough to have a mother as a nutritional mentor who
Oh.
taught me
Wow.
what vitamins I should take, which ones I shouldn't take, what chemicals.
Vitamins. I still say vitamins, but we'll go with vitamins for the
I
show.
like no, vitamins are better. So I
Vitamins.
love,
You know what I
so she
mean?
told me
Yeah.
which vitamins to take and which vitamins to avoid, and actually at what lifespan, what age ranges to focus on certain items, and also which foods to eat instead of those vitamins, because the foods would give it to me in a way, would hand over the nutritional aspects to me as long as my body would accept them, because I was in a really great space
Yeah.
that would actually help me live a better life, but gosh, look better, because I would have all of the tools I need for the scaffolding that holds up my face, for my fingernails to grow, for my hair
Hang
to
on. Did
be.
you just say the scaffolding that holds up your face?
Oh yes, your hair is a scaffolding. That's why ladies sag faster, because men shave, women wax their faces, or they exfoliate the hair off their face
Wow.
improperly, and then they end up with a sagging face. Or they're a runner. People that run without running on a trampoline for extended periods of time, their face will sag because gravity is working against them. So if I could give
Wow.
one, I wish we could avoid gravity, but we can't. So
That would be a
so
lovely
being
thing.
mindful, yeah, being very mindful of what you're doing to your body, and not just trusting everybody, going and actually researching it yourself. That's what I did.
Yeah.
I've decided that having a biochemistry degree and a design degree, and understanding the biomechanics of how we live and the chemistry of how we live, might help me be able to create some solutions for us living better lives, pet
So,
or people.
so these five pillars are not just randomly like, hey, this sounds good, let me add that. This is a combination of life experience, extensive studying that you've done, and you sort of put it together to create this very simple to follow regimen of 5 simple steps that has obviously, I mean, impacted your scaffolding, as you put it. And so people just go out there. Can you quickly repeat those 5 pillars for everybody?
So I'll probably not do it quite in order, but
That's
one
okay.
was to own an animal
Own an
besides a
animal.
human animal, own a different species of animal, and I don't, whatever type is great.
So don't own a human. No, no human
You
ownership.
can you can own
Animals.
a human, but
Okay.
understand how to train your human,
Train
please.
your human.
Breathe. Gosh, I wish people would breathe more. So
More
breathing is number
breathing.
2.
Intentional breathing. Enhanced breathing.
Sense of humor.
Ah, I love that one.
Number
Sense of humor.
3. It's an amazing gift that you can create for yourself. Train yourself to laugh. Creating an amazing space, your sanctuary.
An environment that is healthy, that optimizes your wellness and all those things. Love that. And then fifth, last but not least,
Was find a mentor, whether that be the
mentorship.
anti-mentor or the mentor, and live your life according to your belief system that you've created, that you've researched, that you have found success with. Don't just listen to everybody.
Oh, don't
Or
listen to everybody. Wow. But you know what? I'm glad that I listened to you with your wealth of knowledge. Let's quickly change up the rhythm here because you've shared so much wisdom. I want to now get kind of more into your head on a lighter note, on a humorous level. What is your favorite sound, Geryalynn?
That's an easy one. Besides a dog bark, which I'm going to push to the side. I love the ocean or water, waterfall, ocean, my shower, my bathtub filling up. I love my sink, just running water in my sink.
Yeah.
It's one of my favorite sounds is running water, ocean on the beach, waves. Yes.
Now, I've read that running water creates a charge, like a positive charge in terms of ions or something in the air, and it's really good for our overall well-being. And whenever I love the ocean, by the way. Whenever I go to the ocean and I'm walking on the beach and I hear the sounds, I feel a sense of like this calming blanket that kind of engulfs me, makes me feel at peace, more confident, more relaxed. I gain more clarity. I love
Yes,
that.
and it's a scientific fact. It's actually a negative ion that comes
Negative
from the
ions. Yeah.
water, and we're a positive ion, so that we are attracted to one another naturally. That's why we drink water. It flows with us and attracts other things and pulls them out of our body, enhances us. It's a
Love that. Love that.
relationship.
All right, this is the big challenging one. Geryalynn Charter, not to be confused with Prada. That's your last name, Geryalynn Charter. What's your favorite curse word? Uh-oh.
Well, it
You can spell
changes
it out.
like it changes because of whoever I'm trying to affect at that moment or have an effect on. But right now it's shut the front door.
I love that. Why don't you go and shut the front door already? I love that. I
Front
absolutely love that.
door.
The front door.
I
Not to
live
be
in a house
confused
of
with
step
another
children.
F word. And so this is now the very profound, meaningful ending to this segment. So Geryalynn, you've gone through this amazing journey, ups and downs, lessons, mentorship, love, loss. You come to the end of your journey here on Earth, and what would you like people to think of you or remember you? What would your legacy be for other people? How would you like to be remembered? That Geryalynn, she was this. Oh, I remember how this.
My whole goal has been my entire life to improve the communication levels between species of animals and even interspecies between other dogs and their other friends, their other furry friends, other dogs and cats, and also people to people, not just people to animals. It's always been part of my uh, I'll call it my je ne sais quoi. It's just a thing that I do.
Yeah,
It's the thing that I do, the way that I am.
I
So
love
that's
that.
been part of it, but I feel like I've been building that my whole life, and now it's coming to fruition where I'm actually, before I pass away, I'm actually seeing the effects of a lot of that happen, that the great ripple effect of my work come back to me already.
I love that.
And so I just want to keep continuing on that path. It's giving a gift I have to others to be able to allow them to slow down their life process and enjoy it more and actually live.
And
And
your words of wisdom and insight have been a gift to this show. I'm deeply appreciative, grateful to have met you many years ago and to have watched your journey and to see the contribution you do make to the community, to society. Geryalynn, it's been an absolute pleasure. Before we leave, is there any way that we can find out more information about you? How can people follow you, get a taste of your exceptional wisdom?
first of all, thank you for having me. You are exceptional.
Thank you.
It's been my blessing to watch your journey, and I'm just in awe every time I stalk you on social media. Yes, you may follow me at gerylynnchada.com. And also you may follow me at gcpetstyleoflife.com. There are many ways, just Google me, and there's probably way more online than need be for all that I do, but it's
Yeah.
all wonderful. So thank you.
Thank you, Geryalynn. And also, as your host, Vital Germain, you can also follow me on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. What other social media platforms am I on? YouTube, and it's all at vitalgermain.com. I'd love to connect with you guys. Thank you for joining us for another episode of Another F Word. Geryalynn, it's been a pleasure sending you love. Thank you. Take care. God bless. Bye-bye.